Hi Claire, this is Sabrina Salmi, and I just wanted to invite you onto this platform to interview you to hear so much more about the depth of what you offer and share into the world. So for you viewers, just so you know, this is Claire Ford. She is an absolute golden person, so giving, so loving, but a woman of many hats. And I really love the suggestion that she wanted to share with you about what hat are you choosing to wear and which one are you going to transition to. So without further ado, I'm going to allow Claire to do the honours, because I'm not going to do any justice to what she actually does to serve. If you can just share with the listeners what it is you like to share with the world and why.
Thank you so much, Sabrina, and thank you for this opportunity, to have this conversation with you and your tribe, especially at this time, which I think is such a time of transition, for everybody. And I really feel that this is a time where we have the opportunity to go inwards and to really think about, how it is we want to show up and how it is that we can serve our communities and our clients and our tribe, or however you want to call it. And also to have permission, and this is what I'm really excited about, permission to wear these different hats, because now, for many of us, as transformational coaches, as personal development coaches who are already in the online space, right, we're used to perhaps a little bit more than other people having these kind of online conversations using different platforms. However, I know that there are many people who are struggling with working from home, not just from showing up in their pajamas and changing their routine and well, how do I mentally commute to work when all I have to do is go from upstairs to downstairs? I know my partner's been struggling with that, for example. He logs on his computer and he's on, and it's like, oh my God, hundreds of emails. It's like, how do you ease yourself into the day? So there's all of that going on. But there's also lots of people who are learning for the first time how to have conference calls, how to have calls with clients, how to have calls with members of their team, especially if they're directors, they want to check in with people, their well-being, how they're getting on with various projects and stuff like that. So this is very new for lots of people. And so I think that this is really I am so excited about this time. I know many people are probably thinking, oh, you can't say that, but actually I'm saying it. I'm excited, right? I feel it's really important to keep our vibration high. One of my hats is a quantum energy healer. I'm all about vibes and energy. Really important to keep our energy high, because this is the birthing of a new era, right? This is Mother Nature having her birthing pains, right? This is her getting rid of the stuff that doesn't serve her. And this is an ideal opportunity where we can do this too. I did a beautiful healing the other day with a client who's been coming for many years online now. We were talking about this rebalancing and resetting of ourselves, right? Emotionally, energetically. And there's no better time to do this than now, because this is exactly what planetarily and Mother Nature is doing all around us. This is a massive reset. So get rid of the crap that's not serving you. Now is the time. You're allowed to do that, because you've got more time at home to sit with that and to really work out. So for the entrepreneurs in the group, I would suggest that, and I would invite you to do this. This is an amazing time to reset the button, to really think about your company values, right? What do you really stand for in your heart? Drop down into that heart space. This is no longer about how we should be showing up, right? That's gone. Right, that's gone. That's gone for our schools now. That's gone for the politicians. It's gone for the royalty. It's gone for everything. How do you want to show up? What makes your soul sing? What makes your heart soar? How do you want to be of service to humanity moving forwards? Because these creative entrepreneurs are the ones that may not be making money now, may not be monetizing products and services now, may not have even created them now. But if you tap into this space, this is what is going to serve us in the future. It's the longer game, right? Yeah. And I mean, I know you're an entrepreneur, Sabrina, and so many members of your family are. Is this something that resonates with you, that you might be able to sit down with your children to do and say, well, actually, let's have let's have a reset of our business plans. Let's have a
Mm.
reset of our goals and our visions and our dreams and our values. And let's maybe just tiny shift. But you know, and I know that if you do a tiny shift now in that angle, that trajectory is going to be completely different in 4 or 5 years' time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you put that so beautifully and succinctly, to be honest, Claire. A lot of people have been coming through and going, you know, that it's really nice being airy-fairy. These are the words that's being used, airy-fairy, about the future. But it's hard to do that because their entire world seems to have been falling apart, like lost their job. How do you kind of encourage entrepreneurs, business owners, and so on and so forth to just harness an essence of positivity? What hat can they put on?
Yeah, so I think for that, you know, basically, I mean, people know, you know, when we're in a place of fear and when we're in a place of lack, that is not conducive to creation. That is not conducive to positive conversation. That is not conducive to converting a client. That is not conducive to showing up and shining as your best self. So I totally get that we're in a turmoil, we're in a state of flux. Nobody knows what the future holds. People's jobs have gone and everything else. For me personally, the best thing I can recommend when I feel like that, and of course, we're all here in our 3D reality having a human experience, is to first of all acknowledge that those feelings are okay. Right? Journal on those feelings, scream into your phone, make a voice note, you know, go outside and rant and say how bloody awful this really is, how scared you really are, how you don't know how you're going to pay for your next meal, how you don't know how you're going to meet your mortgage payment. Accept that that is your reality right now and get it out of your system energetically. Right? Allow
Mm.
yourself to feel the fear, allow yourself to feel the lack, allow yourself to feel the anxiety. That is okay. We don't have to put a brave face on it. Model to your children that you're having a conversation with your mother over the phone. You know, how am I going to do this? Right? Banks are making lowering interest rates, they're giving mortgage holidays. You know, there are things that can be done. Governments are putting things in place for sole traders, for entrepreneurs, right? There are things, people's expectations of what you can provide are going to change. If you need to ask for a payment plan for something, ask for it, because you can offer that then to your clients if they ask.
Yes.
And you can say, I know times are different, right? This is what I've done for people that I'm tutoring this month, right? I'm giving a payment plan option so their kids still learn. Let's keep the nation learning. Let's keep the nation ticking over. There's always a solution.
Beautiful, beautiful. And actually, while you're speaking about families and children, we had a lovely conversation about being that potential for, you know, being positive and being that living example to our children. Would you like to maybe share that with some of our listeners? I thought it was amazing, your suggestions.
Yeah, so one of my hats is as a parenting coach, a conscious parenting coach, and a conscious educator. And you know, my passion is about supporting families at this time because, of course, although we're entrepreneurs, many of us are also parents as well. And so this is a difficult time of flux where children are at home when they should have been at school. Your partner might be at home when they should have been at work. you're at home, you know, and you've got to be entrepreneur, mother, housekeeper, chef, gardener, you know, meal planner, advisor, you know, holding the space for the well-being of your family. Like, oh my goodness, us women are normally put on so many hats. Just as an aside before I answer your question, which I'm really excited about and I really want to put out there, is this is the time, ladies, to step up and say no, to have those boundaries, right?
Yes.
There is no reason why that nurturing role can only be done by women. And
Yes.
there's no reason why that provider role can only be done by men. No, this is time of change. Your partner, your people at home, the in-laws, the outlaws, the grandparents, the partners, they step up, they cook, they clean, they teach, they work.
Yeah.
Not just you.
Very
So you
true.
need to delegate tasks, you need to delegate cooking, you need to teach your partner how to use the washing machine and he says, I don't know how to press buttons. Learn.
We got plenty time.
Right? We're learning today. You're not going to work. I can teach you. You don't know how to iron? Learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no,
Excellent.
no, come on, ladies. Let's break down those barriers, because we cannot be at home doing it all the time, 24/7 now for the next goodness knows how long. No,
No,
no, no, that's not
no,
going to work anymore.
not at all. That's
Not at all.
excellent advice,
Now,
actually. I'm glad you said that.
there are, of course, men who are stepping up into the nurturing role. There are, of course, families where the woman has been the main breadwinner and the man has been the homemaker, right? Which is fine. But also then for those women, please don't just hide yourself away in your office going, oh, my job's more important because I'm bringing in the money, and allow your husband to have to do all the nurturing and caring. He will need a break from that too.
Yes.
Right? So this is really all about balance. This is all about balance, all about communication, all about connection with the people around you, so that everybody feels well, everybody pitches in, but everybody has time to step back.
I
I
love
can't even
that. That's
remember what your question
beautiful.
was.
No, I'm so glad you interjected with that point. I think that's so valid. Like, you see, here's the thing: there's a lot of a lot of shifts going on, and I love what you said, because the kids and I were having a joke about this the other day, saying, you've got these guests coming over, you haven't seen them for a while, but you want it to be kind of hospitable, and you kind of, invite them over, and then you get locked down, and you go, oh, we've got to work this out. So the fact is, different households are different. There are many families living in two homes, like many children having to go between mum and dad's house. And it's so interesting, the dynamics of just that assumption that you're a woman, you'll do the cooking, you'll do the cleaning, you'll get it all done. Well, actually, now's the time for us to work as a team. Now it's time for us to leverage our skills. So I absolutely love that. That's an ethos that I live by, because it's burnout otherwise. It's serious burnout. And the fact that you can't get out of your house, this can be quite serious, leading to arguments and all kinds of atrocities that can take place. So I think it was so important that you actually mentioned that. It's not a deviation at all. I think that was an added nugget. So thank you very much for that, Claire. So we had a conversation about being a potential, like actually living your dream and going after. So your words of affirmation that you give to your children are very much congruent, so they can learn by example as opposed to just words. I think that was such an amazing point that we had a conversation about.
Yes, and I mean the thing is, many parents are going to be potentially struggling, locking heads with their children, saying, you must do this, you must do that, here's your work from school, da 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 da. And as our children get older, of course, and more opinionated, and rightly so, that's even harder to do, right? Because, for example, if I take my own example, I've got two sons who are in their teens. One is 16 taking his GCSEs, the other is 18 taking his A-levels. Of course, they're not taking them. So how on earth am I going to motivate them to crack on and do anything, right? Because they'll be like, well, Mum, why should I? So this is where we have to model the behavior we want to see. Now, as a dream builder coach, I am all for people living their dream. You might think, well, this is rubbish. How can we do that? We can't even go out the house. What are you talking about? Haven't even got any money. Like, how's this living the dream, right? We're on lockdown. We've got all this time and no money, no resources, no freedom. This is the time to plant the seeds. What do you think nature is doing now? Look outside your windows. Nature is getting ready to blossom, to spring forth, right? So plant those seeds, right? This goes back to your business vision, but actually create a family vision, create a life vision. Create your dream, build your dream, right? Do your dream board. If you could travel anywhere in a few months' time, where would you now go, right? If you could buy anything you wanted to in a few months' time, what would you buy and why? If you could choose to live rather than be locked down where you've landed, if you could choose to live in your dream home, what would it be like? Design it now, create it now. Find things on the internet, put your furniture in your dream home now. You've never had a swimming pool? Find the swimming pool, cut it out, glue it down. Have that swimming pool. Create that dream now for your life, for your family, for your vision, for yourself, for your business. This is the time to plant the seeds of change for you, and know that if you step into that energy, that it will be done. And if you show your children that there is hope, that there's still dreams available to be had, then, as in your words, in your fabulous words, Sabrina, whose race are they running? Let them run their own race. You want to be a famous person on YouTube? Well, start your YouTube channel and start vlogging then. Build up your tribe. Nobody else has got anything to do. They're going to be watching you. Start day one of lockdown in the life of a 16-year-old stuck in their bedroom. Boom. You're doing it, right? So you can start entrepreneurs at a young age, as you know, Sabrina. And you've shown people that. One of your son trades, one of your daughters is a coach, all of your children are authors, right? Rather than giving them a literacy lesson and saying, right, sit down and learn your spellings and learn your handwriting. Yes, but why don't you start writing your book? Why don't you start writing a story about one of your toys on your bed who's sad because they can't see their other friends? You can start writing at the age of 7. What are we waiting for? We have permission to show up and to shine our light in our purest, highest form. Now, if you can't do that as a parent, don't expect it of your child.
Beautiful.
We have to be the role model. We have to be the change. We are the change. We are the light that our children need to see.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is so beautiful. Absolutely
Yes.
beautiful. Just one last question, then I want you to leave a statement with the listeners. How did you cope with the initial shock? Because I think some people are still somewhat paralyzed. I think some people are. It's a case of like, you know, I get where you're going. It all sounds amazing. I know what to do. But right now, I just feel paralyzed. These are like questions that I'm getting is that, how do I move from just that shock factor, dealing with the fear? And I love when you said, you know, just acknowledging it. But what about people that are just literally paralyzed? What would you say to them? Because they're not on their own. You know, I think we're acting as if we're going through this on our own. It's the entire world. But what would you say to those people that just feel paralyzed, that can't really process anything right now?
Yeah, so I think the best thing to do is to breathe, right? It's returning to your breath. It's just take a breath, right? Just know that you don't have to work all this out in the next split second. Just know that none of us have worked any of this out in the next split second. Just know that I am showing up for you right now in my space, speaking my truth, in this second right now, but I haven't got everything worked out for my business, for my family, for my finances. I'm just doing the best I have with what I have, with what I know right now, and that is good enough.
Beautiful.
So just take a breath. Just take a breath. And know that you know, when you're in that place of fear, you can't make the right decisions. By breathing, what we're doing is we're releasing that cortisol that's in the back of our brains, keeping us in fight, flight, freeze, right? Those people who are feeling paralyzed, that's a very normal reaction. That's the normal reaction when your cortisol is flooding your system, because it's as though your body is telling you that for your survival, you're in front of a man-eating tiger. This coronavirus is the man-eating tiger, right? We're facing it right now, facing it. So our first reaction, our body's reaction that's kept us alive for millennia, is to release cortisol. And what cortisol does is it floods our body and it goes to our big organs. It goes to our arms and our legs so that we can run away, so that we can fight, right? Or so that we can play dead, because then that way the tiger wants the chase, right? The tiger wants the fight. If you play dead, the tiger's not getting what it wants, and it will sniff you and it will walk away, not interested. And so you play dead. So you fight, you can't say it. You fight, you flee, or you freeze, right?
Yes.
And actually, some children fidget as well.
Yes, I got some of that going on in here.
So the thing is, so it's just acknowledging, okay, my body is flooded with cortisol. I can't make the decisions. I can't get out of paralysis unless I breathe. Yeah. Because the frontal lobes of our brain need oxygen. And the frontal part of our brain is where decisions are made. You're right. And it's where thinking happens. And so you have to allow your body to be able to make decisions. And so you can do that by breathing. So you can go for a walk, shift the energy. These big limbs that all this energy is in, wanting to fight the virus, I hate the virus, or I want to run away and just hide under the covers and pretend nothing's happening, right? Shake that out. If you can't get out, stand, stamp, and shake it out, right? Yeah? And then move all that out of your big limbs, because we want the energy, we want our brain to be working, not our limbs. We're not going anywhere. We can't do anything. You can't go to the gym. You can't run in the park. You can go for a run. You can go for a run, a walk, or a bike ride at the moment. So this is very important. We need to get rid of that cortisol. We need to take all that energy out of our big limbs. We need to open up our energy centers and our big organs here. When you breathe, you're filling your lungs. You're filling your kidneys, right? Yes. You're filling your stomach area, right? And lots of people who do heart maths and things like that say we have three brains. We have our brain, we have our heart brain, and we have our stomach brain. So depending on what you believe, what you know, what you have, what works for you at the time, whatever it is, you can just breathe. You can feel your heart, you can feel your head, you can feel your stomach, which is your power center, and then you can just sit with it. And then you can simply ask, what can I do now? I want everyone to write that down, type it down, write it in the comments. What can I do now? When you're in a state of calm, not when you're in a state of rushing around the supermarket, trying to get the last toilet roll, nudging people out of the way. No. None of that needs to happen anymore. Right? Just sit at home, breathe, shake out that energy, and just simply ask, what can I do now? And wait for the answer. And it will come. And that's what you can do now.
Beautiful. I love that. That's a beautiful answer. Is there anything that you would like to leave as a final message, Claire?
I think that these are unprecedented times, of course. And for me, I think that they're exciting times. They're questioning times. And coming out of our comfort zone can feel very frightening, and it can make you feel very vulnerable. And so just know that everybody else is going through that, right? We're all going to have periods where we feel frightened, where we feel vulnerable. And this, though, is a seed of growth. So when you feel that way, I want you to welcome it in your heart, because you know that you are growing emotionally, physically, intellectually, and spiritually. And that is what our planet needs.
Beautiful. And for anybody that's listening, if they would like to reach out to you, how can they contact you on social media, email? Like, how can people get in touch with you, please?
Yeah, sure. So obviously I've got a website and all of that, but do you know what? I kind of like pivoted from that. So the best thing to do is to just find me. I'm on Facebook as Clare Ford. For people who are parents who want some support, I've got the Home Education Hub on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram as Beautiful Souls. My company is Beautiful Souls. I'm on Twitter as well. So just, you'll find me. You'll find me. If you're meant to find me, you'll find me. I have an email address as well, which I can pop in the comments for you under this interview. So yeah, these are amazing times. And I think we will find the people that we need to hear their message at any particular time. Using these online platforms, you know, we've been saying that, this social media, it's been very divisive. It's made people feel very lonely, right? Especially our teens, even though they've got all this connection, they're feeling disconnected. Let's flip that around. Connect with people now through these incredible devices that have been created, perhaps exactly for this time.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That was absolutely beautiful. Claire, I just want to thank you for this space and thank you for sharing your golden nuggets. And I have no doubt that you as a listener will grab something that's right for you and activate. The most important thing is take what's for you, digest it, and put it into action. You know, this is goodbye from me and sending you oceans of love wherever you are. Yeah. And be sure to reach out to myself or Claire, and let's do this together. We're in it together. So there's no need to feel alone. We all have an understanding of what the variation of what you're going through right now. So reach out, connect. It can be a beautiful new start for you if you choose. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.